You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're now going to be talking on the phone about shopping experiences online. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us. Would you just be able to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Fabrizio, the co-founder of Expressly, a company that helps online businesses become more relevant and consumer-friendly.
So what do we need to look out for when buying something online?
Well, the first thing is awareness. So we've done market research, and the people from sheppey and the surrounding areas are disproportionately, actually 80%, not worried about the potential of falling victim to frauds. But these are things that happen online. So first thing is making sure that you have an awareness of where you're being referred to. And you may not be aware, but Google and Facebook get paid for advertising, and they do not verify the sources of their advertisements. So make sure you visit sites that are reputable, and maybe you're being referred to by either a friend or a site where you're already buying something from. The second one is that padlock sign on the navigation bar. It shows that at least the identity of the site is certified. And then the last but not least is the presence of customer reviews that you can see about products and about the trustworthiness of the company, and maybe a phone number that you can call.
Now, it sort of seems that there's a little bit of a difference amongst age groups. You know, younger people seem to use smartphones, probably older people not quite so much. Are computers a safer bet to shop on?
In fact, somewhat counterintuitively, no. People up to 34-year-old are more likely to buy from a smartphone, according to our research, and that turns out to be a safer option for the simple reason that most of the frauds actually happen at the device level. So if your computer has been compromised, that means that your information might be captured by fraudulent third parties. But if you're buying from a smartphone, that is actually less likely to happen. Although, truth be told, typing your details on a smartphone may be more time-consuming.
Now, using computers, you often get pop-ups and these sort of totally irrelevant adverts. How is the best way to avoid these? And why are they so random, really?
So the randomness of the ads depends on how much the sites know about you. So choosing a site that knows about you and serves relevant content is a wise choice. So the first filter should always be selecting sites that are knowledgeable about you, and in turn that don't show too many ads. But there's other ways to avoid completely irrelevant advertisements if you find them, so like ad blockers and pop-up blockers. But choosing carefully the website is always the best advice.
So shopping online seems to me almost seem a new thing, but really when you think about it, we've all been doing it for quite a time. So you'd have thought by now it'd have been more of a stress-free experience. How can it sort of be made more less stressful, I suppose?
So for sure, saving your details on the website is a great and secure thing, because it means the next time you don't have to type them again. And that also means that there's no risk of them being hijacked or taken by a third party. So saving your details is certainly going to make your next purchase much easier. And the second is buying from places where you have a relationship means that they're very likely to offer you relevant products and services, as opposed to buying from a place that has no information about you. And then last but not least, trying to have some fun, because the internet opens up new opportunities that may not be available to you in the outside world.
So that's quite interesting. So saving your details, you mean with the company you're buying with, or in the browser, is actually safer? Because when it comes up with that, you often think, well, if I'm saving it there, does that mean it's more traceable or accessible? So that's quite interesting.
It's much safer, because when the information is safely stored on a company's server, it's much more difficult for a third party to to get hold of that, whereas the biggest risk is either it being captured at the device level or in the transmission between your device and the company. And keep in mind that actually the companies are very well protected against intrusion to their servers, probably much better so than you on your device.
So is there anything else we can do to make shopping a safer experience and even a little bit more stress-free?
There's a few things, and those relate to making sure that when you are looking at referrals, so many news sites are found through advertising, and checking where these advertisements are being served and how relevant those are to your interest and the advertiser itself is an important thing. So I always advise people to, maybe rather than look at advertisements on Google and Facebook, to watch out for opportunities to buy more things referred to sites where they already buy something from, because those are really highly likely to have been verified and being handpicked for you.
Well, if you're happy we've covered everything, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to join us here at BRFM Bridge Radio.
Thank you, Daniel.